Okay, we are live. Welcome, everyone. We're excited. We're doing, I think, like the seventh live stream of the month, and today is a bit special. Ayush, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Excited for this kind of like it's not a live coding session. It's actually like a MetaMask Dev Cook-Off like workshop, and we have actually like a really good guest and partner that we want to welcome. And yeah, again, everyone, welcome to this workshop. This is something that we care about. We kind of launched the MetaMask Dev Cook-Off like a couple of weeks ago, and it's ongoing. And why will doing this. This is a month-long online hackathon. Like, why we're doing that? We want to kind of like build something from scratch, having those live coding session, having those workshop, having really like partners also chime in and showing their technology, so we can all learn what is all this about. Okay, so I think this is we have still 2 weeks before kind of like the deadline, and it's really great to have different partners. And I think like usually like we've been doing. I think like two live stream about like the live coding session. We try to break things, build things from scratch. We even vibe coding like an app for like 2 hours. What was your favorite live stream in this Dev Cook Off that happened this couple of weeks?
I think the apart from the favorite live stream, I would say like one of the cool thing I found about the doing live coding on the live stream was we found out the issues, right? It was
Oh
not
yeah.
just like the MetaMask live coding where we found out the issues, but also in the one shot API we found out the issues. So, okay, there can be some changes in the skill file to redirect them to like smart accounts credential delegation toolkit, and why the hallucination is happening for the AI. And then we found out like three bugs for the like while doing the live coding session for the
That
X421
was
as well, which
impressive.
was pretty cool
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, it's not
So
like pressure, live coding something like pressure, like the demo codes will be with us, but it's also like actually getting feedback directly to products, trying to also like see some kind of nitty-gritty things on the docs that we can optimize. Yeah, I mean, it was very useful. We should definitely like plan those more. And yeah, if you're just hearing us and you think like you want to kind of like see something built or vibe coded, trying to kind of like do something from scratch, please feel free to comment. We have this chat on the right. You can just comment from whatever like channel you are tuning in. And yeah, I would say let's start. So welcome everyone. This is the MetaMask Dev Cook-Off workshop with Venice AI. Venice AI is one of the partner on this month Dev Cook-Off with Smart Account, One Shot API, and Venice AI. And yeah, it's just great to kind of like build and present different tech stack in a short amount of time. We have a little bit less than 1 hour. We're excited actually like to show a bit, and maybe if we have time, we also like not showing just a demo about coding something quickly with Venice AI. So let's fine tune a bit and let's getting started. So yeah, I think like quick intro. And we kind of like went through right now. I think like for everybody listening, this is I think is the 10th intro of what this MetaMask Dev Cook-Off is and why it's so important, and who is kind of taking a part of it. But Ayush, why you're excited about this kind of like month Dev Cook-Off? Like why it's so important? You know, we obviously want to bring smart accounts to everyone, but what is your take?
build things, break things, and ship things. I think this three sentences define like why this tech cook-off and the hackathons are important. It's also like giving us like the feedbacks that we need, since we are like launching the X42, which is pretty new for us as well in the experimental phase. So it will help us like get more and more feedback on how the usage is, what we can improve in the DevX and on the infra side as well. So pretty excited to see how the things unroll. And
Exciting.
I think the like while mentioning about this dev cook-off, I would also like to mention that in this dev cook-off, we are also like seeing the partners who are already existing products, and they are trying to use like the MetaMask tech stack, Venice AI, and one shot APIs to integrate in their tech stack and like improve the support. So it's pretty good to see that as well.
Nice. Yeah, excited. I think like also showing kind of like hands-on what is happening and who is building with. It's super important. Okay, so just to give a context, these dev cook-offs are happening every month. We're always like trying to engage with different like ecosystem partners, different tech stack. We range from like the smart account kit to like MetaMask Connect to embedded wallet, and we have a lot of things that we're shipping soon.
and
So I'm
X402
really
as well.
excited. X402 with a smart account, right? So now that we're fully supporting, this is also a big part of this monthly hackathon. And yeah, we even did this live coding session, building something with X402. Was very excited to engage also with a lot of like base builder, let's say that. Nice. Okay, sounds good. Do we want to kind of like resume a bit to what are the prices, what are the pools? I don't know, Ayush, if you want to kind of like share a bit, like even your screen on showing like where this hackathon, where people can see it. But I think we kind of like mentioned it a couple of times now.
Yeah, like it's been like a lot of times, and I think like tomorrow again, like we'll be presenting it in the community call as well. I assume like so people will be hearing a lot about the price pool and tracks. So we have like a lot of like tracks here, and you can like if you're building on X4 27710, we have like $3,000 for you, and you can also like build like on multiple tracks, right? If you're building an agent that is using the X402 and Venice AI, you can be eligible for all of those tracks and can win as well, right? So we have like you can check on the screen like we have the best agent track where if you're building something using MetaMask smart accounts and delegations where it's able to like use delegations to have the guardrails for the agents, it can be eligible for that track. We have best A2A coordination, which involves like using delegations or permission sharing for agents to interact with each other. So agent does not need to transfer the assets to them, but instead like share the permission to the other agent so that they can use it on the behalf of some other agent and execute task. So if you're building something like that, it this targets also the 804, ERC 804. So if you're building something around that, you can be eligible for the A2A coordination. If you're building on any of the three tracks and using Venice AI as and as for your agent to like superpower your app, you can be eligible for the Venice AI track. And similarly, if you're like building any of this like tracks using one shot API to submit your delegations, right? You can be eligible for that one as well. And the best thing is if you can see every track is basically complementing the other track, so it's not like you have to like pick one and then like kind of discard the other tracks. You can actually like build something that falls under like multiple tracks as well.
Nice, nice, and I think this is the best time to bring on Sabrina from Venice AI to kind of chat a bit what what is Venice AI, why is it so important, what is the track about, and Sabrina, I want to welcome you. It's an honor to have to finally have this live stream with you guys here, and yeah, quickly
Yes.
introduce yourself and excited to have this live workshop with you.
Thank you so much, Francesco. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see what people build with the Venice API and what we can see happening in this workshop. Like you said, let's break things, let's build things, let's see what happens. And yeah, I'm Sabrina. I'm the head of API here at Venice, so very close both to the community, building closely with Venice to see how we can improve things. This is why workshops like this are so important, and just introducing the Venice API to people, see all the possibilities that you can develop with the Venice API, and also, responsible for just making sure it works really good across every single endpoint. And for those of you who don't know Venice or the Venice API, the Venice API specifically is a private AI API, and we do have a very strong privacy philosophy. So at Venice, we take privacy very seriously. We never store your prompts ever. We don't see your conversations with any AI models. We believe that your data should belong to you and not to any big company, especially private conversations such as the ones we have with AI. And for that, we have 4 different privacy tiers within the API. So depending on the model, you get a different level of privacy, right? And we have basically every single AI model out there that is popular right now. So we have models across text. For example, the main text models right now is, I don't know, it's ever like from closed source models like Opus 4.8, just released by Anthropic, is already available on the Venice API, but we also have GPT 5.5. We have all leading Google models and open source models as well by Google, Quen models, and maybe I can even share my screen and talk a
That
little
would be
bit about.
awesome. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
actually
let
like
me.
super interested how you are also like handed like the privacy side, encryption, like the non-prompt training or injection is a very big adding value. I think it's I was excited for this. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see here, like, our models page is really intense. So you can basically see every single leading model right now. If you click here, you're gonna see like more information about the model. Um, and this is basically all leading frontier models right now. But the cool part is that, well, we don't have only text models here. We also have image models. We have video models. We have audio, which includes text to speech models or speech to text models, so you can interact with your AI via voice if
Nice.
you want. And we have more categories around embeddings and so on, and especially tooling for AI agents, all private. And answer your question, Francesco, there are different tiers of privacy within each of these models. You can see here below. Some of these models are anonymized, and that is basically the lowest privacy tier, because those models are, for example, Cloud Opus 4.8, it has to be hosted by Anthropic,
Mm,
right? And they have their own data retention policies. We can't really do anything about that. We only can guarantee that, well, Venice won't store your prompts, and Venice actually acts as a proxy to Anthropic. So Anthropic doesn't see that it's you that's making the call, it only sees Venice. So it's basically anonymized the calls.
nice.
And for open source models, models that we can host, those models are completely zero data retention, right? So those models are, for example, Google Gemma 431B, very popular model recently, completely private, zero data retention, and it can go further, right? Because there are people who need verifiable privacy. That means you need to, prove to someone that the model is private, not just trust. And for that, we have our TEE and E2EE models. Those models are basically hosted inside a trusted execution environment, which is basically an isolated part of the computer that only that model has access to, and is separated from everything else. So anyone, even if they have access to the hardware, they can't access the trusted execution environment. Plus, you can also add encryption. So, for example, GLM 5.1, you can add encryption on your side and send it to the GPU that's hosting this model. Then that encrypted message will only be able to be decrypted inside the TEE. Then the model, produces the message, the reply, encrypts it back, sends it to you, and only you can decrypt that message. So this is basically the highest level of privacy, completely verifiable end to end, that you can also achieve through Venice. And it's basically, great for workflows where you need to prove that that workflow is completely private.
I think it's super useful that you also mentioned that it's not just the text model, but also like on the audio and video and images. Because when you want to like process your like private kind of files, especially around the images, like I remember that trend that went viral where the Ghibli images you can generate, and then
Mm,
okay,
Yes.
like you're sharing like your like personal data to the chat GPT, OpenAI servers on all of your images. So I think like this also like expands to like areas where you want to process your personal information, especially around the audio, videos, and images. So it's pretty useful there as well.
yeah.
Exactly. And at least it's not connected to your personal account, right? Because, if you're doing this all through your personal account, if you're using, for example, GPT models where they have, data retention policies, um, if you're doing it all through your own account, they can always tie that back to you. But if you're using Venice, then you can proxy yourself through an anonymized layer, or basically just choose one of the private models that we have here as well, and make sure that nobody's ever seeing what you're doing.
I'm thinking even like for agent specific, I'm using my own orchestrator, from OpenClaw, I kind of like moved to Hermes for like memory, shared memory. But also like one things I always said was the voice to text and text voice, like trying to understand also like where this is stored, how this is manipulated or used. And I think that might be also very powerful. And you offer also local LLM models, right? I can run it. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Very cool.
Yeah, we host basically all open source models. Most of our open source models um, are hosted by us and are private zero day retention. We also have actually Grok models with
Mm,
also zero day retention, which is very interesting because we have a very good deal with XAI, even though they don't
mm.
open source the Grok models, but we can offer them privately via the Venice API as well, which is a great thing as well. You can access, for example, X search, make Twitter searches, etc., via the Grok models using the Venice API. And
Oh,
besides
nice.
just the models, you can also use tools via the Venice API and empower your agent with tools. Tools such as web search, web scraping, file parsing, a crypto RPC, which is the one that our crypto agents going to be using to talk on chain and then basically get on chain messages, not information, data, not messages, so we can analyze what's happening. In upcoming soon, we're also going to have browser automation directly on the Venice API. So basically, the hub for everything that your agent ever needs, and with a huge focus on privacy. Yeah.
Nice, nice. It will be super useful to have also skills that are specific to privacy that people can consume. I think that's very cool. I'm excited. Yeah, I remember all my old days with like Octopars, and if you're providing this kind of like scraping also like possibilities, I think it's super useful for actually people running agents. Very cool, very cool. No, sounds good. And I think we are actually like kind of like perfect on timing here because yeah, I mean we should kind of like go. So one of the 3K is the best use of Venice AI, right? Like we kind of went through a bit like what are the use case, but Sabrina, now that you are kind of like on the stream, like what are kind of like your wish list of like people will be
Oh
building
no!
on top?
Don't do this
Yeah,
to
like
me. You
of
know what?
course, yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like I feel like we have such a good match of things being experimented in this hackathon. One shot API expert too. It would just be great to see things around that, and just yeah, the best use case for Venice. We really want to see one thing that we really want to see is people take advantage of we have in multiple endpoints, right? Not just use it for to chat. We have like image, video, audio tools that you can use and make sure that your agent does all these things privately. So this is one thing that really is going to matter for us when in the judging criteria. Another thing is privacy. Is we really deeply care about privacy. So just making sure that you have that in mind when creating your agent and that you're just not being careless about like where your data goes and that you can explain and understand that you're building something that it's gonna probably be working with crypto assets, working with confidential and financial data. So we should always keep in mind that privacy is a huge factor that should be taken into
Yes.
consideration.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's pretty good use cases because like if you see currently like everyone is trying to use Cloud Code, OpenClaw with like the not private models to do the crypto thing that okay go and like do this stuff for me, buy some meme coins and stuff and kind of like sharing all the information of like how you financially do stuff and also
Yeah,
about all your account values, right? Like you don't want to share your public addresses to like someone, but then you're trying to interact with the agent and apparently sharing all the addresses that you interact with. You have funds on addresses to the companies. So pretty good use case to use Venice AI for that as well.
Yeah, I'm
perfect
trying
use
to.
case. Yes.
Yeah, even I think for a kind of like this second brain on like backups or like databases, I have my own Obsidian kind of like second brain that I'm trying to train, but I also am asking myself first how you will migrate this kind of like Obsidian to the next kind of like harness, how private this will be, is the retention, what you will lack in terms of like exposing and training your own data directly to the next harness. So I don't know. I think it's a super big topic, and I think people are not speaking enough about it. But I think it's very cool that you are also bundling up with different services. So you have a kind of like a different handful like API suite to consume, and then you have also like, for example, the search. I think the automation is very cool, and this is also why we're doing this kind of like workflow workshop. But I would say let's dive in. So I think like you kind of mentioned a bit what is Venice AI, why it matters for this hackathon. We're excited also like people embed privacy like automatically in everything they're building those days. And I think now that they can actually like build a workflow directly, I think it's kind of like a superpower for this
Yeah.
live coding session.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing also that is worth to mention is that Venice can be used completely via X402 right now. We have X402 access to all of our endpoints, so you never even need to log into Venice and generate an API key to have access to all of that. You just need to have a wallet. So that increases the privacy even further, and that's something that again I know I said it a lot, but we do care a lot about that. Users are able to do that. So I do have one agent. I was working on vibe coding an agent that can do
Ooh,
a lot of things with the Venice API yesterday. So basically, just a chat agent. Let me share my screen here. So this is basically the X402 page. You guys can take a look at that to understand a little bit better how that works. I'm not going to get too much into that because I know you guys already had an X402 workshop with all that kind of stuff. We're going to be integrating with MetaMask soon as well. But yeah, this is also possible in Venice. Now, let me
nice.
change here to the agent page so I can show you guys what I have been cooking. And this is basically a very simple agent UI completely powered by Venice and X402. So
Nice.
what we're doing here is basically creating this on-chain agent that can read, understand, pull data from the chain, and analyze anything that you want with it. And it's completely connected via X402. So everything that the agent has access here is via X402. We can see here I have $4.69 on X402 balance on this wallet specifically. Again, we're gonna try to vibe code this ourselves, see the steps that it takes for us to build something like this later on. I just wanted to show like the final results that we're aiming for first, and see what kind of this can do, right? So one thing that we can do, and there is a few options here below already, is to inspect the VVV token on base. So VVVs are token at Venice, and it gives you access to what we call DM, and DM is one way for you to use our API without ever needing to um, put any credit card or without ever needing to even use USDC to pay. So if you have one DM token, that means you have $1 of inference per day forever on the Venice API, which you can use, of course, to power autonomous agents that pay for its own inference. So this is an overview of the token itself. And here you can see that the agent started here. I'll analyze this address on base. Let me start with a full account overview wallet scan. And we can see here
Nice.
the agent is calling a few tools. So there is the
Okay.
tool reading account overview, scanning wallet holdings.
Oh, question, Sabrina.
Uh,
You can you
yeah,
zoom a bit? I think like there are some people DMing. Oh, there. Perfect. Perfect.
there you go. Yeah, that's much better. So yeah, we can see here that the agent is like, okay, tool calling, doing some tool calling. So I understand the question. Let me see if I have the tools to get what she's asking. And then he thinks about, hey, did I get what she's asking? He like reflects about it. Then he calls another tool if he hasn't found the final answer yet, and then it gets to the analysis, right? So you find, hey, this is not a regular wallet, is the VVV token contract itself. It has some information about the VVV token, and it's all directly taken from the crypto RPC that we're using directly through the Venice API. And I also connected our image endpoint to this agent as well. So now I'm going to ask, can you create an infographic? Oh, sorry. Graphic with this information. Okay. And basically the agent was going to understand that it needs to generate an image, and it starts calling the generate image tool. And this all is basically eating from my X-Pro2 balance. If I refresh the page, we're gonna see I'm gonna have a smaller balance here. But yeah, here's
Nice.
my image. We can see here it was generated with Grok Imagine image quality, paid with X-Pro2. And
So
there you
is
go.
mixing up the API usage, right? Mixing up a bit Grok, a bit Opus. Very cool.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Hey, like you're basically like not just using Opus, but it's
Oh
also like
yeah,
using for imagery like Grok. Yeah, very cool.
exactly. So we can basically add every single endpoint here. So I can also, if I wanted to plug in video generation here as well, I could also create like a video tool and connect my agent to that endpoint and have it be able to also make videos. So if I refresh the page here, I'm going to see if my balance drops. And yeah, that costs me a few cents. And especially because the image generation is a little bit expensive. But this is what we are trying to do. There's much more interesting things. Maybe you guys can make me a question that you guys would like to know from the chain, and I can ask the agent here and sees if it replies correctly.
I think we can we ask like the trading questions to it, like research on the coin and then give the signals whether it's a good to buy the
Yeah,
coin, or
which coin should we do?
I think we can do for the VV.
Oh, okay. Research on VVV and tell me. Well, let's put it. You wanna know if it's a good time to buy or not?
Yeah,
Tell me if it's a good time to buy. And I'm gonna do a little bit further. Like, tell me its trajectory. I'm not sure if I'm spelling that right. So far, and tell me about the reduced emission. So I'm being more specific here because there's like a few things that we're doing currently. So I'm gonna see if it's able to get all that information. So we are reducing emissions just like in the past couple of months. I'm gonna see if
this
he's
was
able to
pretty
track that.
fast.
Oh yeah, this is pretty good. By the way, this
Yeah,
is
that was
using
fast.
Opus, so it's not really private. So it's like anonymized, but we can switch the model here to our E2EE models already with encryption or any other
Oh,
model that we choose. So this is also really nice.
nice.
Okay, bottom line first, I can tell you whether to buy. That's financial advice I won't give. Well,
It's the model.
that's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay, so what VVV is explains VVV. Staking VVV generates DM, where $1 of DM equals $1 per day of API inference credits. So you got that right. Now there is a few issues here on formatting, but we can fix that later.
That's very
Is
cool.
effectively prepaid AI compute. All right, so we can see here price trajectory. Um, you know, basically, we can see here what happened in the past couple of months. Wow, I didn't know it was that much right now. So this is good news. I'm just realizing. So it's around $20 right now. So yeah, there is the emissions. So it has information about the emissions burn. And yeah, there is like the bullish signals and the caution flags.
Hmm.
So yeah, there is. Okay, so I can want me to pull the on-chain burn activity. Yes, pull
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
on-chain burn activity directly on chain. Just make sure that it's actually using the RPC.
That's very cool. Is this data stored like will Opus also train on top of this data that you're training, or what is the privacy embedding
Yeah,
part
so
if I'm not selecting the privacy setup?
exactly. So for Opus of 4.8, you know, they do have like an, a no, let's not train on your data policy for this contract specifically. But to be honest, we can't guarantee that they're not gonna what they're gonna do with the data once they have it, because they do store it at some extent. So what we basically can offer for these models that are hosted by other companies is to anonymize them through Venice as a proxy. So we cannot guarantee they won't train on your data, but you can always like make sure that you are guaranteed by switching the model to a private model. Now, I feel like it's good to use those models because one, they're pretty smart, of course, they're really fast. And when you're not super concerned about, the specific privacy of that matter, you're not sharing your personal information, you're not making, letting the model know it's you that's doing that call, then it's probably not going to be an issue. But if you are sharing personal information, if you are sharing like sensitive data, then you absolutely should not share with these models, because they are you should always assume they are storing your data at some point, because well, they're not like encrypting, they're not like doing anything to not retain it. So just have a caution when sharing private information with these models. Right now we're not sharing anything private, so it's fine to use Opus 4.8. But if we're gonna share our personal wallet, then let's try a private model and see what happens. We can try that afterwards.
Yes.
But yeah, we can see here information about the burn. Let's see which tool, okay, so it made a few RPC calls. And yeah, we can see the burn destination address, the data address. Anyway, a lot of information here. So this is basically, we can try to vibe code something like this. I can show how sort of like uh, Cursor does. I basically vibe coded this application myself using the Venice API, using Opus 4.82 on Cursor, and I can show like the steps that I took to do that, and we can try to see how the agent does live. But this is basically the end result, right? That I wanted to show. We can even like open a new chat here, go to GLM 4.7 privately, and we can even like try to use somewhat personal information here. So I'm going to use the wallet address
To like,
that I'm
and you're
using.
asking to not disclose anytime. I mean, we could do that with the env files, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to share your .env files with an AI, you make sure it's private. So this is the address I want to. It's basically a burn address that I'm using to actually power this agent. So I'm just gonna ask it to analyze this address. And it currently has, I think, around oh, a bit. It's not this anymore because we just spent it a little bit on Opus, but it's gonna be around $3. Oh,
Mm.
it's not, because this is actually the Venice balance. Oh, this is something that I should explain on X402. So when you're actually using X402 with Venice, the way that it works is that you top up a certain amount to your Venice sort of account. So Venice works by, you top up an amount, minimum $5. So I send $5 to Venice via X402. Then Venice remembers that that wallet has $5 of credit on X402 for you. And we do that so you don't have to pay a gas fee for every time you call the API, because gas fees can add up when you're doing like LLM calls that sometimes can go like even lower than the gas fee itself. So we do that because of that, and to make sure that we can actually charge correctly for the LLM calls. Okay, so okay, oh yeah, E2E mode, it can't really do tool calling. So this is one characteristic of E2EE models. They cannot do tool calling. And one of the reasons is tool callings is not easy to be encrypted. So we would have to use just the TEE without the encryption. I think there is one model that has tool calling, but into E2E, but it's not really. The tools cannot be encrypted, and there's like a few technical reasons for that. I'm not gonna bore you with the details, but this may be something that we can like do some workarounds, like use this model, that's this private model, to do the tool calling, and then use E2E to analyze the call. But let's just switch it up to a private model instead. So let's do this with Kimi K2.6, really great model.
Nice.
Now open
Um,
close is
Let's see
giving.
how it goes.
yeah, I'm testing both with the Minimax and the GLM. I think they're super strong for pricing.
Yeah, so there you go. You can actually do the tool calling with Kimi. This is actually an easy workaround because, um, this was vibe coded, so it's not like the perfect integration, but you can do a workaround so you don't have to really use the tool calling on the model specifically. You can, do the tool calling separately and skip that tricky thing that E2E models need to address. So we can see here the address was analyzed. I basically have nothing there because everything's on my Venice account wallet, but it was actually analyzed. Now let me try to open my MetaMask account really quickly and pick another burn address. Or if you guys want to share your addresses so we can analyze and see how much you got, we can also do that. Okay, let me try to this one.
It's very cool that you can do the on-chain analysis too.
Now this is an address that I have on MetaMask. There's
And
more questions, and the crypto RPC itself can actually perform actions on chain too. You can actually, okay, do this swap for me, do this thing for me, and specify, but we're not doing this in this demo because it's a little bit more sensitive, and it's a whole new architecture to do something like that. So we can maybe save it for part two, but this can also be done via the crypto RPC, so it's worth noting as well. Okay, so here we have a little holdings snapshot, a little risk analysis here. So low liquidity, thus diversification, gas efficiency, and yes, just a little basic analysis here. And maybe we can even start talking about how we can actually build this and vibe code this agent with the Venice API.
nice. More
Okay.
live coding stuff.
Now, I don't make any promises because you never know how vibe coding will go, but
That's the fun part, right?
yeah, that's definitely. Now, let me share a separate screen here so we can do this.
Francesco, you might want to invite people to build nights if they're interested in doing like on-chain analysis of their accounts or do something else.
That would be cool. It would be a replace. Like I have a lot of like notification on accounts and kind of like moving vaults like in nosy safes and stuff. And it might be good to actually build a workflow like that kind of notify or give you some triggers. There are a lot of use case that might be also like
There
I think
is.
like yeah, I think also the fact that you're providing some kind of like open router for multiple LLM models private or not, and also like mixing it up with like um, other like type of APIs, like voice to text, search, image recognition. There is, or like even parsing stuff. I think it's very cool. Yeah, because you can bundle up things. I'm definitely interested to understand also like how you guys do the pricing model and stuff, but I think this is not very relevant for this call, but it's good. Oh, nice what you're sharing here.
Yeah, pricing LLMs is always it can get
Yes.
very nerdy, very very fast. We can talk about GPU optimizations and all of that. So, yeah. Um, so you can also use Venice, the Venice API with basically any OpenAI compatible client. And if you have an OpenClaw agent, if you have an Hermes agent, you can always use the Venice API there. But you can also use for Cloud Code. You can also use for Cursor. You can also use for Klein, Open Code, um, Kilocode, and basically whatever is your favorite place to code. You can just plug in the Venice API, and it's gonna um, just work. And it's been a big part of my job for the past a couple of months. Just make sure that we are compatible everywhere that you'd like to use us. And I personally think Cursor is a good platform to vibe code apps like this. So I'm going to be using that. And I'm going to be using it with the Venice API. So there is a simple way for you to do that on Cursor. You come here on File, Preferences, Cursor Settings, and you're going to see this page. And then you can come here on Models, and you're going to see like an API key session. And basically, what you can do here is that you can override the OpenAI base URL. You just need to add the Venice base URL here, toggle that, and add your Venice API key in this field. Now, let me show you how you can get a Venice API key. It's pretty straightforward, but worth showing anyway. So here on Venice.ai, you go to Venice.ai, create your account, and you're going to need an account for the API key specifically if you want to use in these tools, not for the agent itself. But you can come here on the API section, and you're going to see this option here on the top right to generate a new API key. So you can click that. You can put like, MetaMask workshop. Select the permissions, the expiration date, more advanced configurations if you want, and just click on generate API key, and you're gonna be able to create that. Now I'm gonna just delete that key real quick so people can't use it because I just showed here, but this is sort of the idea, right? Going back to the cursor page. Oh, wait. I'm not sure if I'm sharing correctly. There you go.
In those days.
There you go.
There you are. Awesome.
So, okay, so this is, we can already start like selecting our models. You can add here, for example, I prefer using Opus 4.8, but we can click here on add a custom model if it's your first time using the Venice API, and you can add the model ID here. So for example, Venice Cloud Opus 4.5. I mean, let's do 4.8. It's already here, like both of those, so I won't really do anything by doing that. But basically, you can select the proper model here in this drop down, and you're going to be able to start using that model specifically via the Venice API. Another thing that is really good to have when you're building with the Venice API is to have our skills, the Venice API skills, so your agent knows the way perfectly around every endpoint. So the way that you can add that to your cursor is that you come here to rules, skills sub-agents, and click on new here in this button. And it's going to pop up this message here on the chat that's going to say, help me create the skill for cursor. And you can just say simply like the Venice AI slash skills on GitHub, the skills for the Venice API. And if you just do it like that, it's going to already be able to find the correct place that the skills live. But just to share here for the purpose of showing which repo I'm talking about, this is the one. So I can maybe share this here on the chat so you guys know how to find it. Can you see my screen?
No, are you sharing? I see the link that you sent.
Yeah, I was sharing, but I think
Oh, now it's back. Yes. How many of those
there we
skills
go.
you guys have?
I think this repo has like 19 skills. So you can see here, this is the repo, and we have skills for every endpoint that we offer. So basically, if you want to use chat, responses, embeddings, image generate, image edit, every single one has a specific, way and parameters that you can use. So the skills basically shows and offers all of that, so your agent knows exactly the possibilities there. So this is how you can connect it to basically any of your preferred IDEs or agents or harnesses. And it's very straightforward. Most of these harnesses can already like find the skills and connect to their agents very easily. So that's basically the overview on skills.
Nice.
If you're building with the Venice API, it really helps a lot. So for this workshop, it's going to be a major help if you do that. Another thing before we get into, because I just showed you how to create the Venice API, is for this workshop, we are actually providing a promo code. If you use the Venice API, you're going to get some credits. So I can share the promo
Nice.
code here right now that you guys can share with whoever's watching us.
I can see the screen. Sabrina, are you sharing?
Um, oh yeah, let me see. It's getting a little bit buggy,
Should we
but
should
Oh
we
yeah.
show
I'm
the
gonna
promo code
share.
on the
I'm gonna share
screen?
on the chat though. I'm gonna share on the
Oh
chat, and you
yes.
guys can
Okay.
share on the chat
Perfect.
for the people watching. So the promo code is this one, and you guys can share on the chat. So basically, on the API page of the Venice API, below you're gonna see a promo code field. Just add that, and you're gonna get $25 of credits to start using the Venice API and start building with the Venice API for this hackathon specifically. So another thing is that if you want to send and submit your project to the Venice track specifically, we are also going to give you another $25 after you submit to continue using the Venice API. So yeah, let's
They
get
can
started
continue
vibe
building on
coding.
the product after the hackathon as well using the Venice credits.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, especially because we are definitely like encouraging people not just building from scratch, but actually like extending the functionality. So if you're also already building, have your own product, and you kind of like leverage this, it might be also super useful.
Yes, exactly. So for every submission that we receive, you're also going to get another $25. But it has to be a good submission. Doesn't count if you're just like sending stuff to get the credits. You got to actually do a good project. Okay, so onto the vibe coding, and I feel like we just have like a few 10 minutes left, and we can just try to quickly see what happens when we try to do a few prompts here. So I have a few prompts prepared. Um, and the first thing I'm going to say is build a chat app. Now that app is using Next.js and TypeScript and is using localhost 3000. Um, Maybe since I'm already using localhost 3000, I'm going to ask it to do it on localhost 3001 with one AI agent I can talk to, etc. So, okay, this is basically a prompt to create the skeleton for our application. I'm just going to send it there. And I have a few other prompts after it starts, giving us some result. Hopefully it should be quick because this model is pretty fast,
Which model are we
but you never
using?
know.
Which
So
Opus
we're
8,
using Cloud
4.8.
Opus 4.8. Yeah.
Oh, the 4.8? Yeah. I mean, we did the live stream for like 2 hours, Ayush, right? But I mean, it was more complex. But let's
But
see.
it
I
was
think
like,
4.8 is quick.
you
Quick.
remember, like it was released during the live stream. So we were halfway through the live stream and then they released the 4.8 and we are like, oh, we should use
Oh,
4.8 and
true,
see.
true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do you also, Sabrina, do you also support like Composable, like 2.5? What's your, sorry, Compose.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I believe we do actually. Let me double check here while the agent runs. Well, if you don't,
I,
I think we should definitely support that.
yeah, I'm always like asking for comparison. But Opus, I think like the 4.8 is actually faster. But yeah, let's see. Are you
I
also
don't
able
actually,
to planning mode here? Yeah, I guess so, right? You're using the agent.
yeah, agent mode.
Oh,
Just letting it go. I have like a few prompts ready to go here after that. So the next step here is to make the agent pay for itself using X42. We can already like pin that up.
auto-sponsored.
And yeah, this is basically a prompt telling it to use X42. Uh, yeah, and I have a few other prompts lined up here. So it's a little bit of a big application, sort of. So the model takes a little bit of time. So if you guys have any questions in the meantime while we wait for it to be vibe coded, um, that's we can go through that. Okay, you can see here it's creating the .env example. It's still thinking like, because I haven't talked about X42 yet, it's giving me the path of an API key and using an API key. By the way, it's not like required for the hackathon to use Venice X402, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to use your Venice API key here, and just create the application like that, it's going to basically work the exact same way. It's not going to have any difference.
Also for the participants who are working on the X4 track, the X402 track focuses on 7710 asset transfer method. So just make sure, because I think Venice does not support the 7710 as of now, right, Sabrina?
Not yet, but we're planning to. Yeah.
Yeah. So just make sure that if you're submitting for X4 to have 7710 asset transfer method as well, and other methods for the Venice AI.
Yeah, that's a good note. Even though this model is fast, it's gonna take a little bit of time. So yeah,
Exciting.
this
So
is
you're
what
building
we're
this workflow.
currently
So
building.
so people can also like take those some of those workflow and kind of like a copy workflow function, or you're providing mostly like API suite bundle products and the skills. It might be
Sorry.
cool, similar to like I don't know, a Zapier model, or like it's that you can take kind of like workflows templates. It might be also cool to have something like that. I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
brainstorming.
So So I don't know if that's what you mean, but I actually have this the repo for the agent that I created that I just showed,
Mm,
and maybe I can share here um, the agent here. So it's sort of like the template for what we built, and the README is already like really explaining the step by step. So maybe I should do that while the agent is running. I can come here and explain this the flow for us. So
nice. We love that.
if you guys can share, yeah, the link. I think you already did the link with
Yes.
everyone,
Share it here.
and then we can go over. Okay.
Export to on-chain agent.
All right. So this is the repo, brand new, and this is sort of like the um, top level architecture for the agent, right? So this is how it works. This is basically how the agent that I was showing before works, right? So the user starts with a message, and the message reaches the agent server. And the next thing that it does is to call an LLM to start replying to the user. And that LLM has a goal, which is whatever you asked for. And it doesn't stop this loop of, the LLM calls the Venice crypto RPC or the image endpoint, retrieves something, reasons about what it got, and just stays there until it has a final answer for you, right? So every single part here is being powered by our wallet via X402, USDC in this case. So this entire flow is being powered by our wallet. And when it's done, then we retrieve the message back to the user. So this is the high level overview. Let me see here because uh, we are npm installing Cursor right now. I wish I could show both screens, but yeah, the Cursor agent's vibe coding on the background here. But yeah, does that make sense?
Yes. Very cool. I like this graph on on-chain agent from Venice.
Yeah, actually, this was created by the Venice API on our image endpoint too. So
Nice.
everything here generated by Venice. And we can talk about like the actual architecture that we're building with this other
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
image here. So our chat UI is React. We're using Next.js too. So the SSE stream receives the token, the tool call, the tool result, the image, and when it's done. This is basically how that chat UI works. And it's talking directly with the agent server. So the agent server is working as a API/agent, and it basically has this agentic loop within it that we just talked about. Like the model calls the tools, go back to the model, and it stays in that loop. I think it's set to up to 6 rounds. So that goes on for 6 rounds max before have to come back with an answer. And here we can see the actual tools that we have available. There's more tools than that. We can get into that, but those are like one of the main tools. So scan wallet holdings, get account overview, get ERC20 balance, and so on. So those are some of the things that we make available for our agent. And we can keep adding those tools, right? We can, like limitless possibilities. And yeah, so this entire agent is being powered by the Venice API. So we're using the chat completions for the web model, plus calling the tools, and for the E2E models, we're also using the crypto RPC for the crypto RPC calls and image generate. So these are the endpoints that we're using. And all of that here below, we can see it authenticates via X402. And right now we support X402 USDC on Base or Solana. But if you have staked DM, like we were talking before, our token, if you have staked DM on your wallet, then you can use that staked DM directly, and Venice won't charge you anything. So it automatically chooses the DM path. So yeah, this is what we're trying to build here.
Nice. Is it like also compatible with the OpenAI package for the Vercel, the next year's one?
Um,
OpenAI SDK. Is it using that?
oh yeah, so yeah, we're completely compatible with the OpenAI SDK. So
Very cool.
okay, let's go back to our agent, see how it's doing.
It's just so funny, Francesco, that when we did our first live coding when I joined MetaMask, it took like two workshops to complete the whole thing.
Oof, yeah,
And
I
now
remember.
we have the vibe coding stuff here, and then we are able to do the whole thing in the one go.
It's quite impressive, yeah. And we kind of brainstormed the app, what to build like 1 hour earlier. It's quite impressive. And the complexity, I think, of the app compared to the workshop that we did before was very, yeah, was totally different. I guess the difference here is like, going on production, scaling it, and scalability of infrastructure, I think is super important too. And I think also other things like, having privacy embedded by default, not just, by design choice. I think these are all big topics that it's not just an extension of what you build, but something that you should consider when you build from scratch, especially in planning mode. It's so easier now that you can actually like add the planning steps in planning mode, right? So
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, it's just not fun anymore, is it? But now we can do a lot more stuff in less time.
We can touch
Um,
more grass.
yeah, we can create more slop.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. When the token limit hits, right? Couple of hours gym, only like if you time it well, every 4 hours. But
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is probably okay. This is happening. Okay, so we have a tools file here. Let's see what was generated. Um, just a second, so I can keep. So we have the tools here. We have scan wallet. Um, we have account overview as another tool. Token balance as another tool. Token metadata. So we can just keep adding stuff, raw RPC, generate image. So basically what we use so far. So those are the tools available over here. On Venice.ts, we're still like not using X402. This is just the first prompt, by the way. So it's really creating the entire skeleton of the uh, agent. But we already have here like the crypto RPC badge, and generate image, and just basically functions calling Venice itself. This is all probably being pulled from the Venice skills. So this is why it's very important to have the Venice skills, so the agent knows exactly, I have to send these parameters, and this field accepts these values, and so on. So this is where the Venice skills become very important. Um,
For the
yeah, so
X-Proto,
let's
like, will it be using a private key from the .env? Uh, or
yes. So it's going to be using from the .env. Now, of course, that is not the best scenario, but we're just using uh, a throwaway wallet, a burn wallet for this one, right? We're also like creating our wallet here. This is how we can create a wallet really quickly. Let me share here. I think this is going to happen in the next one. I don't think it's going to work now, but let me see if it does. Yeah, it doesn't work right now, but we're going to be able to, generate our wallet and wallet private key here directly, and be able to use that as a burn wallet. We can also just, create a private key on MetaMask on a burn wallet and just add there. Um, and it's just going to work. But of course, not ideal for production. don't don't add your private key in your code, especially if you have like real holdings into your wallet. So this all should be treated. I'm sure you guys cover that on the Expert 2 workshop. So yeah, security for your wallet access.
Nice, nice.
But
Thank you.
that other one, since it's all local, is just on my .env. So right now it's building the Expert 2 auth. And we're probably over time now, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it until a functioning demo. We should have probably started as I was talking about other stuff, but
That's all good.
this is
We can
this is
also send
happening.
over.
This is
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how long we can definitely like in the same time continue something and giving kind of like some less part, but I think it's quite clear on the closing. Like the hackathon is until June. I can also share. Let me see if sharing works here at the same time while we're being the build. Yeah, I think it's quite straightforward. 15th of June is the deadline. I think everybody kind of like process so it. You just need to go in the HackQuest page. I would share here actually something. I'm going to share this tab instead. So this link here is following you to the HackQuest page. You have all the MetaMask key to watch out the API and Venice AI Dev Cookoff. You have other information. I definitely like suggest you to check out again the breakdown of the prices, pricing schedule. One of my favorite part obviously is the resource part that you have a bunch of links. You can either read it or feed your agent for with those links. And yeah, and based on that, kind of like build uh, what whatever like you kind of like want. I think one. I don't know, usually if you have some recommendation. My recommendation all the time is if you can, please don't end up finishing and vibe coding something 2 hours before the deadline, trying to actually like get acquainted with the project library, trying to actually search for whatever you want to build, and think about that this is not really ending in 2 weeks, right? You want to actually build or extend their functionality further. And yeah, we have thanks Jordan also like for writing. We love the we love Venice here. Yeah, some comments going through. And again, like try to also like enjoy and ask question all the time, right? I think the most important part here is that we are fully live on Builder Hub. We have the MetaMask Telegram group. There is a bunch of questions you can ask. I think obviously like I'm a bit biased. I like really like Builder Hub and how also the question are being asked. You can even ask directly in our search in the MetaMask docs directly for specific question. You can even ask AI directly in the MetaMask docs on how to use smart account. The Explorer 2 pages are also live thanks to Ayush there. So there is a bunch of like different things.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe Francesco,
Oh,
you can share your screen again because we added two new skills today, and we have
oh
skills
yeah,
for
I can.
Explore 2 payments as well. So if
Nice.
I
Of
still need
course.
to make an announcement for it, but I think like this is the early preview that we are giving to the. So we have the smart accounts, get skills, and the Explore 2 payment skills. So
This is the
if
one.
anyone is building one, yeah,
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, we should definitely share this one. And yeah, I think let me share the link here. And the export to payment skills, super cool. Yeah, super cool. And yeah, I think yeah, anything else? How we're looking, Sabrina, with the build? If we need a bit more time, we can also send a link of the finished repo for people also to test out. That's also possible. Uh,
Yeah, to be honest, the best finished repo is the one we shared before, like the Expert 2 on chain.
oh
This
yeah,
is just like trying to. This was
trying to
an
vibe
attempt
coding
of
it.
trying to build live, but it's if it's not like the live stream, it would have to be a live stream just to vibe code this thing, right?
Oh no, no, no.
Um,
It's super appreciated. I think people also see how kind of like to build, how to test out things, and yeah, this is again is a journey, right? I think the fact that we are here documenting it, testing out things in this live stream is making things special. We don't want to have having like a boring, read only
yeah,
workshop. That's for sure.
Exactly. And everybody just knows how to vibe code. So I don't have to teach anybody this stuff. But it's good to know like you can also use Venice around all these tools, like completely all like tools that you need to build this stuff is we provide. So yeah, feel free to experiment as you wish and let us know what you build.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate Sabrina for coming and yeah, for really presenting here. I'm really looking forward for people asking questions. Maybe I didn't ask, but where if people have question around Venice, like what do you suggest them to kind of like publish those? Obviously, we are working closely, right, on both Telegram and Builder Hub. But if you have any links, super appreciate it. Also, if you want to share.
Yes, absolutely. So we have our Discord channel, which is usually, just the best place to go to ask questions to the team. We're very active over there to answer questions. Let me share the link to that here. Invite to server.
Sounds good.
Let me
And
share
again,
here in the private chat.
please don't arrive the last 3-4 hours of the deadline, right? I think you want to ask question in general, and all our doors are always open.
It's like those
Exactly.
ETH Global hackathons when you get all the questions just before submissions on the midnight, and then there is no one available to answer those questions.
Oh yes, yes, especially the mentors. I think I signed up for it Global New York for like a night shift, like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Let's see. I still need to think about and having the energy to show up at that time, but it would be great. It would be great. Awesome. So thanks so much, everyone, for bearing with us a little bit more than 1 hour, but we kind of like discover what is Venice AI, what can do. We even vibe code something. And yeah, thanks so much, Sabrina, for coming and looking forward for the judging in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Have thank you guys for having me. This was awesome and good luck everyone on the projects. And yeah, thanks again.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks, Ayush, again.